This clip is going to go over some of the changes to Dynamics GP 2015 and 2015 R2. This covers the majority of the items that would be useful to our EWS customers, includes the modules and the functionality that is most commonly utilized by our customers. We're going to start out on the administration pane. When we go into user and enter our system password, the system will now allow us to set up a new user, and then when we come in to copy the settings from that user, we can get the home page role, the home page content, the area pages from an existing user ID and copy that to our new user. So it'll copy the different shortcuts and items off the home page and put that on the new user that we're setting up. With 2015 and 2015 R2, we'll be able to go to either the administration pane or the financial pane, and with a little setup work, we'll be able to see Management Reporter in the navigation pane here on the left. So currently see there's Microsoft Dynamics GP reports, Excel reports. You would see Management Reporter here and could click on that to open Management Reporter rather than having that as a separate icon. It does require some setup and some boxes to be marked in different areas of the system in order to make that available. Also here on the financial pane under fixed assets, when the year-end closing is done, there's a new report that generates. Any assets that are affected by the year-end closing, it will show the year-to-date depreciation, the cost basis, the accumulated depreciation, net book, all that kind of good information for any of the assets that are affected by that year-end closing. When we go into Smart List Designer, you'll notice that now there's a Publish button. That will be available when you have a new Smart List Designer, and what this allows you to do is to publish this out to an Excel file. So a user can open up Excel and see this smart list and get the updated information from this smart list that's created out of Dynamics GP without having to log into GP. So they don't need a login, they don't have to use a license, they can pull up that report by going to the location and pulling it up with Excel. There are also some changes to payment terms. They've added extended options on payment terms and new functionality for that. With the 2015 R2 on the purchasing pane, we now have the all-in-one view. We can pull up a vendor and it'll show us the information, the invoices, payments, and credit documents for the vendor. If we have a bunch of them, we can click on these arrows to sort them ascending and descending. We can also click on the previous 5 and next 5 buttons down at the bottom. The filter up here, if we click on that, we can come in, we can choose to include items that are in history, items that are saved, which means they're in work. By default, it can show the items that are posted, which means they're in open. We can hit the options button to include more options, choose things like the document date, and choose a range to show us all sorts of items that are out there on the vendor. When you click on the drill back, where it's underlined in blue, it'll open the document inquiry window, so you can go and look at that document right from here. Another nice feature is on the financial pane. Also under the inquiry, now instead of having a historical inquiry, there's just one window, the journal entry inquiry, and it has a fiscal year drop down. So you can use this to pull up journal entries from any year that's in the system. Going back to the Smart List Designer, they've made a small but useful change. If we come in to look at transactions that have debits and credits, they now have the debits on the left hand side and the credits on the right hand side, as it should be. So when this is exported out to Excel, the columns will already be in the right order. And the last thing is talking about the bank deposits. In Dynamics GP, there's a feature where it allows you to automatically send a cash receipt to the bank reconciliation module. The way that that works is that each cash receipt apply record will create a different deposit in bank reconciliation. So the reason this wouldn't necessarily work for EWS customers is that items coming from MoversSuite, if they have multiple apply records, for example, you have a $1,000 payment and 500 of it goes to an order and 500 goes to unapplied, that would create two different bank deposits in the bank reconciliation. So it would be potentially very difficult to match those up. That's a setting that we will not be turning on automatically, so basically it would not be a function that our customers would be using or have to worry about. But if you had a non-moving company that you were entering cash receipts directly into Dynamics GP, you could potentially use that so that the items would go straight to a deposit in bank reconciliation and you could skip the bank deposit window. Again, there are other features that come with 2015 and 2015 R2, primarily for modules that our customers do not use, some of them that we don't support. But if you notice any items out there on YouTube or different blogs that you have questions about, the bank deposit is really the only thing that we have our customizations on. So if you are using those modules, those functions would be available to you. If you have any questions on any of this, please feel free to give us a call. Thank you.